Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're deep into fish and fishing for those sweet rods and boats, you already know how big of a money sink enchanting can be. It's one of those things that can drain your cash fast if you're not careful. But don't worry, I've got your back. In today's video, we're diving into the ultimate rod enchant tier list to help you make smarter choices when enchanting your rods. Trust me, this will save you a ton of time and coins in the long run. Knowing which enchants to keep for each rod is key to staying on top of your game and having enough money to snag all the latest rods and boats that drop. Enchanting might seem like a small part of the game, but it really adds up, especially if you're not optimizing it. The secret is in understanding which enchants are worth it and when to hold on to them. I'll be walking you through all the must-have enchants and showing you which ones you should focus on to keep your fishing game strong and your wallet happy. So sit back, relax, and let's jump right into it. I'm quickly moving on to the video, and I'm ranking rod enchants in Fisch. Before we start, if you enjoy these types of list videos, don't forget to like the video and subscribe. Enjoy watching. The rod enchants in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, long and unbreakable. Alright, let's talk about some of the worst rod enchants in Fisch, because you know, not every enchant is a winner. First up, we've got long. It boosts your rod line distance by 50%. Sounds good, right? But here's the thing, it's absolutely useless. I mean, who actually needs to cast their line 50% farther when it doesn't make any difference to your fishing? It's one of those enchants that just doesn't seem to fit into the game's mechanics. Honestly, I'd rather take any other enchant that actually benefits my fishing experience, and trust me, there are a lot of better options. Then we've got Unbreakable. This one increases your rod's maximum weight limit by a massive 10,000. Now, don't get too excited. This enchant is pretty much pointless unless you're using a rod that's already in need of some major upgrades. For most rods, you're already dealing with an infinite weight limit, so this enchant is just sitting there doing absolutely nothing. It's like buying a super high-tech hammer when your nails are already getting hammered in perfectly fine. In short, Unbreakable might sound cool on paper, but in reality it's a complete waste of an enchantment slot. The rod enchants in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Blessed, Wormhole, and Noir. Alright, let's talk about some of the rod enchants in Fisch that might not be top tier but still have their place in your fishing setup. These are the C tier enchants, so don't expect them to bring in the big bucks or give you that wow factor. But hey, if you're looking to experiment or just have fun, they might surprise you in some situations. First up is Blessed. It gives all your caught fish a 2% chance of being shiny or sparkling, which boosts their value by 1 point an ix. Sounds good in theory, right? Well, here's the catch. It's just not the most efficient way to make money. While it adds a little extra sparkle to your haul, it's not reliable enough to be a serious income booster. If you love the idea of shiny fish though, it's worth keeping in mind. Then we have Wormhole. This enchant gives all your catches a 45% chance of coming from a random area. It's pretty neat because it works on rods like the Rod of the Depths and No Life Rod, meaning you can get event fish even if you're nowhere near the event area. It's a cool trick, but again, it's more about fun than pure profit. Not the best for making money consistently, but it's definitely one to try if you want some variety in your fishing adventures. Lastly, there's Noir, which increases the chances of catching albino and darkened fish by 10%. These fish have a slight value boost, but honestly, this enchant is a bit underwhelming for making serious cash. It's one of those enchants that's nice to have if you're aiming for some rarer catches, but don't expect it to be your main source of income. It's more of a niche pick than a go-to enchant, but hey, it might come in handy in the right situation. The rod enchants in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Breezed, Ghastly, Lucky, Mutated, and Scrapper. Alright, let's dive right into the middle of the action with some of the B-tier rod enchants in Fisch. These enchants might not have the flashiness of the top tier ones, but trust me, they've got their place and can be absolute lifesavers when used right. So grab your rod and let's break them down. First up, we have Breezed. This enchant increases your rod luck by 65% when wind weather is active. While it's not quite as powerful as the S-tier Storming, Breezed can still work wonders if you time it right. You might not always have the luxury of wind weather, but when it hits, you'll be reeling in those fish like it's nothing. It's solid and you'll definitely appreciate the extra boost when the wind is on your side. Next is Ghastly. If you're into catching those rare translucent fish, this enchant is going to be a game changer. It gives all caught fish a 20% chance of becoming translucent, boosting their value by 1.3x. Now, this is particularly great for rods that don't have any money-making passives of their own. If you've got a rod that focuses more on catching fish than on making cash, Ghastly will add a nice little bonus to your haul. It's perfect for those who want to maximize the value of each catch without having a dedicated money-making enchant. Then there's Lucky. It's a pretty straightforward enchant that increases your rod luck by 20%. Not as shiny as Divine, but it's still a solid option. Sometimes you don't need the absolute best, just something that gets the job done reliably. And that's what Lucky does. If you're not ready to splurge on something higher tier, this enchant is definitely worth considering. It's not flashy, but it'll certainly help you catch more fish over time. Mutated is another B-tier enchant that deserves a mention. It increases your chances of catching mutated fish by 7%. If you're using a rod that doesn't already have a passive for inducing mutations, Mutated can really help you out. Mutated fish are rare and valuable, so any extra boost to your odds is a win. It's a bit niche, but for those looking to add some variety to their catches, it's a great choice. Finally, we've got Scrapper, which gives your bait a 60% chance of not being consumed. If you plan on using a lot of quality bait during a session, this enchant can be a lifesaver. Imagine not having to worry about running out of bait every few minutes. It's a small thing, but it can really add up if you're grinding for those bigger catches. If you're all about efficiency, Scrapper is definitely an enchant to consider. So there you have it. These B-tier rod enchants aren't the flashiest, but they can make a real difference in the right situations. Whether it's catching rare fish, maximizing value, or just making your fishing sessions smoother, they've got you covered. Try them out and see how they work with your setup. The rod enchants in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Insight, Sea King, Storming, and Swift. Alright, let's talk about some of the best A-tier rod enchantments in Fish that will definitely level up your fishing game. You know, there are plenty of ways to improve your catch, but these enchantments are solid and won't disappoint. First up, we've got Insight. This one's not as flashy as some of the top tier ones, but it's reliable. All catches grant 1.5x EXP, meaning you'll be leveling up faster without much extra effort. It's a great way to boost your experience gain while fishing, especially if you're in it for the long haul. Then there's Sea King, the enchantment that's all about size. It increases your fish size by 10%. If you're hunting for those big or giant fish, this is your go-to. Sure, it might not do anything fancy like increase your fishing speed or luck, but when it comes to sheer size, it's got you covered. You'll be pulling in some seriously impressive catches in no time. Just picture those massive fish on your line. It's a good feeling. Next up is Storming, which really shines when you're fishing during rain weather. With a 95% increase in rod luck during storms, this enchantment is perfect if you're using Tempest Totems. It's a bit of a niche pick, but for those who love spamming Tempest Totems, it's a game changer. It's definitely better than Divine in rain-heavy conditions, so if you're looking for some serious luck on the water, this is the one to grab. And of course, we can't forget Swift, which is all about reducing lure time by 30%. It's not quite as fast as Hasty, but still pretty solid if you're aiming to reel in fish faster. You'll notice the difference with those quick catches, especially if you're targeting more frequent bites. It's not the top of the charts, but it does its job well and adds a nice boost to your fishing efficiency. So these are your A-tier enchantments, each offering something a little different depending on your fishing style. Whether you're after faster EXP, giant fish, better luck, or quicker catches, these will definitely help you up your fishing game in Fish. The rod enchants in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Quality, Controlled, Divine, and Steady. Alright, let's dive into some of the best rod enchantments in Fish, the ones that'll seriously level up your fishing game. If you're someone who loves catching the biggest and the rarest fish, then you're going to want to hear about these S-tier enchantments that make a world of difference. Let's get into it. First up, we've got Quality. Now, this one's a bit of a game changer if you don't want to spend all day trying to get those fish to bite. With Quality, you get a 15% boost to luck, 5% resilience, and 15% extra lure speed. That last stat is really what makes it stand out. It's perfect for rods that only need a little extra boost in lure speed to get the fish's attention faster without overdoing it. If you're trying to reel in fish efficiently, this one's a solid pick. Then there's Controlled, which is all about your rod's control. It increases it by 0.15, making it ideal for rods that are a little lacking in resilience or control. So if you're tired of those pesky fish getting away just because you don't have enough grip on the rod, Controlled helps you keep them hooked long enough to reel them in. It's the second best enchant for rods in need of a bit more stability, especially when you're fishing in tougher spots. Finally, don't forget about Divine. If you're someone who lives for pure luck, this enchant is your best friend. It boosts your rod's luck by a whopping 45%. That's a major upgrade if you want a higher chance of landing those rare catches or just want to fish more efficiently in general. Divine is the top choice for anyone trying to increase their luck to the max, making those fishing trips a whole lot more rewarding. And for rods that could use a little help with resilience and control, Steady comes in third, reducing the progress loss during a fishing minigame by 25%. If you're in it for the long haul, Steady helps you stay on track, even if things get a little shaky. So, whether you're chasing after rare fish or just aiming for smoother, faster catches, these S-tier enchantments are the ones you want in your arsenal. Choose wisely and happy fishing! The rod enchants in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Clever, Resilient, Hasty, and Abyssal. Let's dive into the world of Fisch Rod enchants, where a little bit of magic can take your fishing game to the next level. First up, we've got Clever, an enchant that's a must-have if you want to speed up your leveling. With Clever, every catch grants you 2.25x the EXP. That's right, every time you reel in a fish, you're leveling up quicker than ever. It's the go-to enchant for anyone who's looking to power up fast and get ahead in the game. Next, we've got Resilient. If your rod's lacking a bit in resilience or control, this enchant is your best friend. It increases your rod's resilience by 35%, giving you a better chance to land those hard-to-catch fish without worrying about it breaking. If you've got a rod with low resilience, or even one that just doesn't seem to hold up as well, Resilient can make all the difference in the world. Then there's Hasty, and if you're a fan of quick action, this one's for you. Hasty decreases your lure time by a massive 55%, meaning you can throw your line out and wait half the time for a bite. If you're using a rod that's already pretty high in lure, but still seems to take too long to catch anything, Hasty is going to speed things up big time, getting you to those fish faster than ever. And finally, let's talk about Abyssal. This enchant is the one you want for the serious anglers out there looking to maximize their profits. Abyssal gives you a 10% chance to reel in fish with the Abyssal mutation, which has a 3.5x value. Not only that, but there's also an 80% chance for a 1.3x weight and a 20% chance for 0.8x weight. It's hands down the best enchant if you're in it for the money and want to maximize your haul every time you cast your line. The video ends here. See you in another video. Don't forget to subscribe.